Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. You may have heard that NASA has been faking everything. Well, I have some files I'd like to show you from way back to the mid-1990s. I'm going to show you NASA's CGI fakery technology, a technology that was so advanced, and once upon a time, we all had access to this technology in our internet browsers. It was super cool and a lot of fun. They said to stop using it because it was a dead technology. Yet, NASA and Google continued to develop this tech.
Billion, trillion, million, billion, trillions of orbiting snowballs, orbiting snowballs, orbiting snowballs. A flat fact. A flat fact.
The realm. Do you know what the realm is? A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
A large percentage of the early web, starting from around 1998 up until 2005, was in 3D. If you ever saw Second Life, this web technology that I'm talking about was the predecessor. But using Internet Explorer, or back in the day, Netscape Navigator, and then later Firefox, you could visit websites in 3D with a little avatar. I have a little wooden fairy. Someone else had this avatar too. Someone convinced the public that this internet language was dead and to just move on. I never thought it was dead. I never moved on. The current internet browsers, Chrome, Safari, and Firefox, all got together and decided to remove this technology a few years ago by removing the plugins, except for Microsoft Internet Explorer, surprisingly. They gave the reasons for this, which is not the scope of the video, but I will say that the WebGL canvas in the internet browsers does not work as it did 20 years ago. Now it's slow, the avatars don't work, and this was 3D back then. This was fast 3D on dial-up modems. One whole website could be as small 3 megabytes. That wouldn't even be the size of a photograph from a smartphone now. So I have a sweet piece of evidence coming up with regard to a video that was supposed to have been filmed from a satellite, but it's not. It's 3D. And I have the file. But first, let's look at this NASA webpage from 1997. They're talking about the goal for the interactive universe, which is partially what Google Earth later became. So this little video on screen shows how we are told satellites crisscross the Earth and take photos, and then they join them all together to make a composite. So I'd like you to keep that in mind. I will read this paragraph from the webpage of December 1997. It explains this 3D language called VRML. The advent of the World Wide Web and the virtual reality modeling language, VRML, makes this possible with tools to create a representative universe and deliver it out to the desktop. VRML is an emerging technology for 3D modeling and interaction over the web. VRML is a descriptive language used to model 3D objects such as planets, stars, galaxies, people, buildings, and molecules, and to allow the user to control the viewing perspective of the object. A VRML object may be defined using a combination of basic geometric primitives, for example a cube, sphere, cone, or cylinder, or a complex arrangement of polygons. The software required to view VRML models is available for free at a number of locations on the web, such as the VRML repository, which does not exist anymore. The VRML viewer may be a plug-in to an internet browser, Cosmo Player, my favourite was the Blackson, or a standalone application, for example VR Web, with navigation aids to moving around or zooming in and out of the scene. So that's a pretty good explanation of it. So in 1997 they had a few of the models done. So we have the Moon, the Solar System, with the yellow sun, and the sun is white, the nearby stars, the Milky Way galaxy, other local galaxies, all for your viewing pleasure in 3D. So let's have a look at the Earth Moon VRML. So this here says Figure 1 shows a screenshot of the VRML model, and Figure 2 is an actual photo taken from the Luna 3 orbiter, available at NSSDC's image catalogue. This model, the VRML model on the left, is essentially two spheres texture mapped with appropriate Earth and Moon pictures. This is VRML, and this is the actual photo. It says it's an actual photo taken by the Lunar Orbiter 3 of the dark side of the Moon in 1967. Let's have a look at the image. Let's zoom this image up a little bit. And we have some artifacts here. And this is the Earth, a crescent Earth over in the distance. Elon, can I hear a...
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. 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 Because it looks...
So the Lunar Orbiter 3 went round and round and round the Moon to get these shots. Much like I showed you before, the cartoon CGI of how satellites take images of Earth. I do know it's not the dark side, and it's now called the far side. But I like Pink Floyd. I've been programming for a long time, 30 years plus. My first real application that I made was a very basic moon phase app. I've been watching the moon for a long time. I've got a P900, I take lots of photos of the moon. And one of the things I do know about the moon is that the spots never change. They might rotate around a little bit as the moon goes over your head, but the spots are the same. No matter where you are, you will see the same spots that I do here in Australia. So let's have a look at number 2 picture of the far side of the moon. This one was taken by Apollo 16. And number 3. This was taken by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, the LRO. They're all like this. I'm not going to show any more. The spots are different. You can look at the images yourself using the term far side of the moon or dark side of the moon. You will see that there are numerous versions of the dark side of the moon. On screen now is an image of the moon. Could you tell if this image is taken with a phone, maybe a P900 camera, a satellite, maybe a camera attached to a telescope? Or is the image fake? Let's zoom in and have a little look, shall we? Considering the image is of full moon and there are no craters visible, and craters are always visible somewhere on the edges of a full moon, unless it is an eclipse. I was informed about this some time ago by my fellow admin on the Moon Tracker group on Facebook, Mr. Ron Hagberg. Ron was able to verify for himself that there were no craters visible anywhere on the edges of the moon. Last year in July of 2018, we had an eclipse in Australia, and I was also able to verify the same observations. Yet, every full moon throughout the year, there are craters on the edges. So the image of the moon on screen is fake. It is a VRML file by Reuben Reyes. Remember, VRML stands for Virtual Reality Markup Language. It is loaded up with an 8K moon texture. Credits for these files will be in the description and at the end of the video. On screen now is the original VRML file before I edited it and changed the texture. It had this white light in the middle of it, and every time you spun it around you would just see it. And this light led to a very interesting discovery. So when I was looking at images for Dark Side of the Moon, of course I looked at Wikipedia, and because I'd been stuffing around with the file, editing it, trying to get that light away, I noticed this. Look at the image. See the little light in the middle? Let's open that up and have a look at it. Can you see that light right in the middle? See, there's mine. The moon transits across Earth as seen by the DSCOVR Satellite. This is an official NASA file, brought to you by the dead technology of virtual reality markup language, VRML. So that's it for today. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and much love to you all.